Hello my friends and welcome to another pick a card reading. I hope you're all doing really well and you're having a good day, night, evening, morning, whenever you're choosing to watch this. And this pick a card reading is about your current situation, advice on your current situation. So we have 3 piles to choose from. We have pile 1 with facing Saturn. We have pile 2 with I am enlightened. And we have pile 3 with gold. These are cards from the Blue Dragonfly Oracle, one of my favorite artists who draws this. I love this this deck. So pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, advice on your current situation. Timestamps will be in the description box below, and I'll see you at your reading. Bye. Hello pile 1, welcome to your reading. So you chose facing Saturn. Wow. So we've got this image of this guy who's kind of really emaciated in a way, but he has this crown of the 6-pointed star around his head, or kind of like 3 circles, which are culminating to 6 different colors. And then you've also got the cube there. So there is something about whatever the situation is going on right now, it's giving you some kind of enlightenment about the situation. You may be thinking, yeah, definitely giving me some kind of enlightenment, Reena. I know what you're saying, but it actually is pushing you up and leveling up your game. It's a lesson from the universe, as it says here. There's also a sense of withdrawal where you're having to withdraw to kind of conserve your power. And there's also a sense of you having to be quite disciplined and hardworking in your approach to this situation. There's also a sense of you having some kind of sense of maturity as well about this situation. And also you're having to cut things which are very superfluous. Like you're not going to have anything that's really going to be distracting you, or anything that's going to be affecting you in a way that's going to take you away from the goal. So what I'm seeing here is that there's 2 situations. It's either a situation where it's kind of been thrust upon you and you have to deal with it, or it's something that you're ending, or something that you've gone into and you're coming to like a kind of crux or a culmination, or like the kind of climax of it, where you're having to like pull all of the stops out and you're just having to go for it now. So can I just say, I'm sending you a whole load of support and love, and I'm rooting for you. This is like tough. I can feel it, really tough. Saturn is no easy feat. For those of us that kind of like say that we like Saturn, it's a really tough game. I'm one of those people, so that's why I said it. Anyway, let's see what other cards there are for you. I'll start off with some astrology. And I mean, what's really interesting is that you've got like this kind of like dark background, but then you've got those beautiful colors, which is really interesting because blue is not there, but blue is part of the rings that are going there. So it's almost like there's a flow between the different kind of energy centers. But then you've also got the cube. Now the cube is kind of like the ultimate sense of enlightenment in a way, or one of the higher forms. So let's have a look. Bear me 1 second. Okay, wow, so you got 2 here. So you got 6th house and 8th house reversed. So you're kind of in this place where you're in a conflict between service to others, but then also knowing what this is really all about. I don't know, you may be feeling like you're putting one foot in front of the other and not really knowing what's going on. Really interesting. Let's have a look at some energy for you in the respect of herbal energy. And nature energy. Wow, Rue, protection. Okay. So I don't know, whatever is like causing you to go into this space where you're having to work this intensely, it's almost feeling that it's protecting you from something. You know, the image that I just got in my head is like when you go to school and, you know, you've got the crowds of people, like the different kind of friend groups. And because depending on like what kind of friend group you get involved in, if you are involved in a particular friend group where maybe you're being quiet, or maybe you're just involved with your work and you're really enjoying school, and because of that, because you're involved in your school work, it actually helps you to stay away from any kind of shenanigans or anything that might be detrimental to your long-term plan of being there. You've got Pluto and the Sun there, which means like there's a real kind of sense of transformation. I wouldn't be surprised if there were like people that were trying to undermine like what you were doing. And what's really interesting, I've just seen, we've got blue, green, and the orange here on this side. And then here we've got the purple and the blue, and we don't quite have the red, which is interesting. So what that says to me is that there's a real need for grounding here. And we have red here with the rue. So there's almost like this sense of strength and protection that's needed for you to kind of be rooted in what you're doing. Remembering what the why is of why you're doing what you're doing is going to really help you in this situation. So let's have a little look with the tarot about what's going on. Advice for pile one's current situation, please, Spirit. Thank you. No. Advice for pile one's current situation. So we have the Four of Cups. That's good. Four of Emotions. Okay, they wanted to come out in a lot. Ace of Emotions. Ace of Cups. The Magician reversed. The Three of Materials, which is the Three of Pentacles. Reversed. Okay, so we've got 6 cards here. And the Lovers reversed, and the Seven of Inspiration, which is the Seven of Wands reversed. Okay, what's really interesting here is that we've got a lot of cups here, or like water, and I just had to go down a glass of water very quickly because I just felt so kind of dehydrated. There's something that's kind of maybe sucking something out of you. Maybe it's a situation where you've been involved with other people and you're finding out that you actually can't work with these people. You may have had to step away from a situation as well. God, I only yawn whenever I do readings. This is crazy. I do yawn anyway, of course, but it's just weird how that happens. But yeah, with the Magician reversed, there's just this sense of like this kind of, you know, we always, I'm just going to say it, there is like some kind of malefic influence here. And I don't know, it might have actually pushed you into having this sense of isolation because you seem to have taken advantage of it. But I don't know if like there may be somebody that wants to capitalize upon your kind of good fortune in the way that you do things. So they're kind of like, oh yeah, I see so-and-so doing this way. So they might try and do that. Or you might have been in a situation where you have tried to do something, particularly in a situation where you're giving. So you may have been working for a charity or something like that, or volunteered with a charity. And then once you get there, you understand that actually not everybody has the best intentions there. they're not really doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're not really being as charitable as they could be, or the position is not matching the character or what they're doing. So you've kind of had to break off and break away from that. There shows some kind of split in a way. It does also signify here that there is some kind of revisiting of old wounds, old trauma. Maybe there's something that you haven't fully healed and integrated. So that's probably why you've had to step away. And I kind of get with the 8th house reversed, I kind of get a little bit of moon vibes. It's almost like it turns against you. It's when the shadow, works against you as opposed to working with you, because, you're so unsure of the shadow that you don't know what's going on. And it's really interesting because it's, in this place of service. So there's a real kind of push towards maintaining your integrity and your strength here. I'm seeing the strength card there, but also with Pluto and the sun. And you've also got the angels here as well. So what that says to me is that you've got guardian protection, be it your angels, your spirit guides, your guardians, your ancestors, whoever it is that you have around you. They're being called in to help you at this time. It really does feel like the cavalry is coming in at the moment. Because you're working so hard. And I think that there may be this kind of you trying to do something that helps you to kind of get over this in a way. There may also be somebody, you may have also walked away from a relationship, or there may be something that you walked away from that somebody may not be very happy about. So, yeah. Advice on pile 1's current situation, please. Advice on pile 1's current situation. Wow, we got Lovers again. The Emperor. Okay, that's slightly upright, so Death reversed, interesting. Wow, nine of Wands. Seven of Cups and the King of Swords. So whatever was being offered to you in this kind of partnership, or this thing where you've kind of decided that you're not going to go along with it, you've realised that it was a bit of a kind of fanciful situation. The Three of Materials, the Three of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, clarified by the Nine of Wands, tells me that defenses were up. People weren't able to be themselves. They weren't able to express themselves in the way that they wanted to. They had to kind of tread on eggshells a little bit. Do you know what I mean? We've also got Death reversed here with the Magician. I don't know if you've had an old flame that has come back into your life, or there may be a situation that's come back into your life that they've maybe tried to kind of get you on board again, or try and get you there, working with them or something. Or again, as I said before, capitalizing upon your hard work and your dedication. They're really trying to wheedle their way in. And this is the lesson. The lesson is this. And it's almost like and I'm just using this as an example, I'm not saying that this is the situation, but say for example you're dealing with a narcissist and like, or you're a narcissistic personality, because it's very difficult to like label people with the idea of narcissist. We're all narcissistic to some degree. It's just all a spectrum. And with people who are like higher on the scale, it could be that they, you know, well, if you're dealing with someone like that, it's better not to really communicate with them, regardless of whether or not you think that you can talk them out of it, or you can be the person that turns them around and makes them see the light and then behave like the person that you met, you know, that made you fall in love with them or made you think that they were great. That's never going to happen, because it's all part of a plan that they employ when they first meet you. It's that thing. And then when they kind of like see that they've gone past that point, it's almost like that they either resort to that kind of behavior so that they can lull you back in, and if they know that they can lull you back in, then they'll continue to do it. Or if they can't, then what they will do is they will just outright be mean to you. So it's up to you whether or not to kind of engage with that behavior or not. And if you are continuing to, or if they know that they can come back to you and get away with that kind of behavior, they will. Full stop, you know. It happens. So what's going on here is, it seems like whoever this is, whether it be a colleague, a friend, a lover, whoever it is, I am inclined to think it is a lover, because we've got the lovers reversed twice. But for those of you where it's not a romantic situation, it could be like somebody who you've had a very close, intimate relationship with, not necessarily sexual, just intimate. So yeah, but it is reversed here. But then what this also, I mean, okay, there's two things here. What this says to me is that there's a sense of like, this is patterning that you are kind of facing and you're breaking. And this is kind of like the relationship, or the kind of like course of events that's going on. Like initially you met, you felt like there was some kind of connection, that there was some kind of like, you know, spark, you know, you thought that, you know, and it's interesting because it's the 4 of Cups and then it goes to the Ace of Cups. So it's almost like you're taking that opportunity and then you've met someone. But actually it's somebody that kind of reminds you of kind of traits of, you know, the paternal line, like what is going on with the kind of like divine masculine stroke paternal kind of influences that are happening in your life. And then some shadow comes up, which kind of is really interesting, how it's like underneath this facing Saturn here. And then that kind of like bleeds into the fact that, you know, maybe, you know, in terms of your friendship groups or you communicating with others, you're not able to really do that because there's a real defensiveness that's going on. And then you're realizing that believing in a fantasy is what's causing this. So then you're breaking it off and realizing that you still have work to do with this King of Swords here. That's one instance of this reading. The other instance is that you have like gone through this thing, and then this is like kind of the first stage, or the first stage of something new. It's almost like you're kind of like going through something else, and you found something else that actually resonates with your needs in a much better way than it did before. But then as a result, and this happens often, that people get like, you know, the exes call up, or like old problems resurfaced, old things come back up to the you know, to the beginning of, you know, the surface. So or like people come out the woodwork, so to speak. So that's what's happened, and then now all of these old things are like coming back up for you to kind of discover and work through, and kind of like see whether or not you're going to get triggered by them. So those are the two instances that I see here that might be happening for you. And what's really important is to understand your sense of growth within the situation, like to understand who you are within the situation and how you can proceed, and who you are now compared to who you were then when you first met them. So let's have a look at another card, and then what I'm going to do is then I'm going to close out the reading with a question. Wow. So we've got the dragon, and it was reversed, strength and wisdom. So with that being reversed, think you're being tested, Par 1, to be honest. You're being tested. You're being tested to see if you will make some stupid mistake again. Just gonna say that. I think it's like saying, wow, are you gonna do this? After everything that's happened, after everything that you've been through, are you gonna do that again? Or are you gonna believe this person? Or are you gonna do that? Because yeah, are you gonna do it again? That's what this is saying. And it's gonna take everything that you've got to stay on the course. Because you've got 2 houses kind of working against you. You've got the 6th house, which is sustainability. Now, this may even be that, like, you know that the relationship is quite sweet, like with someone. So you know that you can get everything that you need in a relationship or whatever, or that it's good. So then you go back to that. But then there's also this sense of like, you have no idea what you're getting into. That's kind of 8th house mystery. That's kind of what I'm getting. With that, with the 8th house upright, I would have thought, okay, there's this opportunity to kind of explore something, explore the shadow, and also be there with eyes wide open. But what's really interesting is that he's got a cloak, or this character has got a cloak over their eyes, and they can't see. So it's almost like you're having to like navigate in the dark. That's why it's really important for you to maintain your sense of integrity, because strength and wisdom is kind of on the thin side at the moment. Okay, so a question to kind of help you through this situation. And it's a star as well, it's a constellation. So Perseus, love it. Given the chance to gaze into the wind, no, what? Given the chance to gaze into the void, wouldn't you? Given the chance to gaze into the void, wouldn't you? Look up the story of Perseus as well and see if that has anything for you. Because there may be some answers there for you to help you. Because that was about a warrior. I can't remember what is the tale again. I do know it, but I just can't remember. But yeah, check it out. There may be some messages for you there. Because I feel like you're on the battlefield at the moment. And there's something that you need to find out in order to win this. But you will. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. It's very much in fact, right, I tell you, whether you win or you lose, it doesn't matter. What I think is this is the lesson. That there's no, that's why there's no good or bad. There's none of that. Just however you're going to get through this situation is going to be a good lesson for you no matter what. You'll learn from it. So, yeah. Interesting. Please do let me know in the comments down below what's going on, because I'd be really interested. But I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you liked it, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe for more videos. But otherwise, my darlings, thank you so much for watching this reading and for giving me your energy to help you through this situation. Take care, my loves, and remember that honesty is always key. Bye. Hi Pal 2, welcome to your reading. So you chose this wonderful enlightenment card. I am enlightened. We also have a master number here, 33. It also equates to the lovers, also to there's also Empress vibes here. There is also a sense of channeling the divine, being able to be in a position that you feel aligned with source, in the flow, which is what I'm getting from the keywords of expertise and ability here. There is something connecting you to the divine in the respect of like you being able to kind of tune into that ephemeral energy. Yeah, really interesting. Okay, so let's have a little look more about your situation with some astrology. Okay, so we got 2 cards again, like pile 1. We got Kereseres, which is nurture reversed, and then we've also got symbiosis, which is the trine sextile card. So 7, 11, and then 33. Okay, so there's definitely a transition that's going on into you starting to understand yourself a little bit more. Maybe you were in a position where you weren't nurtured, or you weren't you weren't cultivated to be able to be your best. So what you've had to do is like kind of like learn it yourself and help yourself through that. I'm just going to pick one more card for you, pile 2. There's also something fortunate that's happening, which it probably wasn't easy before, but now it's starting to become a little easier. But it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been an easy thing. Yeah, it hasn't been easy at all. And we've got Sage here with Blessing, but it's reversed. Okay, with the Moon and Jupiter. I think something was blocking your blessings, and what you've had to do is you've had to kind of like rise above it in a way that, you know, it's almost like you've had to make your own opportunities in this kind of situation where it's been really quite challenging. This kind of says to me that you didn't get the support that you needed, and now you're having to kind of like find other ways to support yourself, to get yourself to a level where you actually feel that you are supported. It's very much where you've done this yourself. This is not about relying on anybody else or any other people. And as I looked at my clock, it just said 3 minutes 13. So the 3's all out for you today, pile 2. Okay, so we've got the 3 of inspiration, which is the 3 of wands. We have the star. We have the 2 of voices, which is the 2 of swords. We have the Hierophant reversed, with the Emperor reversed, and then we also have the Ace of inspiration. Okay, Ace of wands. So yeah, this is very much about you fighting out against like establishment, you doing things your own way. It's not about you listening to anybody else or doing anything for anybody else's sake. It's about you and about how you do things. And it's almost like you've reached this kind of sense of a breakthrough, which is kind of indicative from this Ace of inspiration, but also with this image here. It's interesting. If any of you have done any plant medicine or anything like that or worked with that, there may have been some breakthroughs that happened in that respect. And what's really interesting is that cacti here, or the cactus, particularly deal with mescaline, which is usually like associated with the male, like grandfather spirit. I do apologize, my knowledge is limited on that front, so for those of you who are watching about and who know more intricately about plant medicine, particularly mescaline, I'm sorry if I'm saying anything wrong, but my knowledge is that it's to do with the masculine. And it's really interesting that you've got the main 2 cards which are to do with the masculine in the tarot, and they're reversed. So it's almost like, and we've got a female here, so it's almost like that and also this is so interesting. You've got these 3 like figures, and they're all female, and they've got these things coming out their head. So you are definitely channeling from the universe, channeling something. And it also seems as if you have, you've had enough. I know I've said this several times already, but it's almost like you are not taking any more crap. You're like, right, I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm going to do what I want to do because I've gathered together enough knowledge that I know what I say is actually right for me. It's very empowered. And it's almost like, you know, you're realizing that this cannot be, you know, the old ways do not work anymore. The old habits and programs and ways of doing things is not going to work anymore. And if you listen to anything that is going against what you're saying, even though you've had experience otherwise, then you know that it's going to be, you're going to walk away from that. That's not going to be something that you're going to really entertain. I think what's also really important is also to recognize that you know, you've worked through this. You've kind of like gotten to a space where you feel that you know, you've been there, done that. And now you're like, right, I have the t-shirt and I'm wearing the t-shirt now. And I don't care what anybody really says about it, because this is for me and this is what I'm doing. It's not about anyone else right now. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Oh. Interesting. Okay. How many times do I want to say the word interesting in this reading? The card just fell on the floor. I think this is the first one here. So this is the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is showing that, you know, you were just frustrated with plans that you tried to put into place. You tried to make things happen. You really did try, pile too. You tried so much, and for some reason it just, people weren't paying attention. They weren't catching on. They weren't trying to, they just weren't listening to you. They weren't allowing you to you know, kind of work with them. And yeah, there was just a kind of a no going on. Seven of Swords and the Star. Okay. Just lighting some incense at the moment. Two of Voices clarified by the Queen of Wands reversed. Four of Pentacles. Okay. So you were up against some people. Eight of Swords. Okay. And the Four of Swords. Yep, I see that. I see that. Interesting. Really interesting story here. Gosh, I don't know, Paul. It seems like you were up against some real piece of work. Pieces or piece of work, I don't know. And I'm really in awe of your tenacity to keep a positive mindset and to keep going, because I don't know how many people would have kept going with everything that you've come up against. You've come up against a lot. And I don't know, there's two things here. You either had to be a bit of a bitch to kind of get through, or people were like that towards you and you spoke out against it. And there was something about like an institution that was not allowing itself to kind of like, the thing that comes to mind is like a situation at work. Like, say, for example, you faced an injustice at work and then you decided to speak out about it. But then you found that when you spoke out about it, you didn't really get the support that you needed in order to complain or you just weren't supported. So you realize that you are like kind of fighting against an institution where people just do not see the wood for the trees, and they're not able to really like take accountability for themselves. So you stepped out of that. And what's really interesting, because you stepped out of that, it's actually awoken something in you. It's like a breakthrough. This breakdown has been a bit of a breakthrough in that respect. Really interesting. So I'm going to pick one of these cards, and then I'm going to pick you a question to kind of close out the situation. I might have a little think though to see if there's anything else I want to say about your situation. Okay, that came out like that. Wow, spider, be meticulous and patient. So we're going to put that like that, yeah. So it's almost like there's a time to act and then there's a time to not act. And it's about you being able to navigate that. And that's really indicative of the trine. Because it's almost like you're not understanding where the flow is and how you can get into the flow. And the more that you work with flow, the better it will be for you. The more you will get into that kind of state where you'll be able to like move away from this. But I'll be honest with you, I think like you've moved away from this. This has been like the impetus and the kind of fuel for your fire, so to speak. Because it's almost like, where are my blessings? I'm not going to be able to get it if I just wish for them, like willy-nilly. I have to work for them. Same like with nurture as well. I know that I didn't receive the nurturance or the kind of support that I needed. So I'm going to have to give myself that sense of support now. And it's just been something very formidable that you've been up against, which I'm just really shocked at, like in the respect of how far you've come. But it really does feel like, because the odds were against you in such a way, it feels like that's been a real kind of blessing for you. What I will say, yeah, is that you were up against some like nasty stuff, man. You were up against some really like not very nice things. Whether it be people or situations, it does strike me as somebody who's very bitchy. This doesn't have to be female, and don't we know it? Like it can be any sex. But it's just personalities, isn't it? At the end of the day. But you know, there was something that was taken from you. And you've got every right to feel the way that you did. But you really managed to kind of turn it around, which is amazing, Pile 2. I'm so impressed. It's incredible. Wow, and you've got Gemini here. Love it. Okay, so what it says here is, what if... Can you see that? There we go. What if judgment is just unfulfilled potential being mirrored back at me? Wow. That's beautiful. What if judgment is just unfulfilled potential being mirrored back at me? Wow, Pile 2, what a reading. I love it for you. I really do. I think you're really empowered by this situation. If you're not feeling empowered by it, take your time. Take your time to get into that space where you can actually start to feel a little bit more empowered. Because, I don't know, I feel like you're garnering your strength. You're getting it together. So even if you don't feel that strong right now, just take your time. I do feel like the odds are stacked against you in a way, but I do feel like you're going to break through. Unlike with Pile 1, there was no kind of clear outcome of whether or not you're going to win or lose. Not the fact that we, you know, think about those concepts in respect to a situation. But I think here you're going to come out winning. Big time. Big time. Yeah, you will do. With that Ace of Wands and that star there, definitely. Definitely. Against all odds, I think. And even if you don't think so, just keeping things like kind of high vibrational while everyone around you isn't, is going to be really important for you. So Pile 2, I really hope that helped. If it did, please do share in the comments. Please do like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But otherwise, my darlings, thank you so much for being here and for allowing me to read your energy. Take care, have a beautiful day, and remember that honesty is always key. Bye. Card 3, hello and welcome to your reading. So you chose this amazing card. Gold. Alchemy, eyes on the prize, opportunity, financial freedom. Long-term goals. This is what's coming up from this. We do also have swallows as well. Swallows is a very auspicious bird as well. Oh, they've gone. Actually, I haven't heard them. I usually have like a whole circle of swallows that come like round about, I think around about May, and then they just continue to circle and circle and circle, like in fact all day. I'm talking about like maybe about 12 hours. Like, it's insane. Their stamina is off the charts. They can fly, like they fly from the UK to like Africa. So their migration is really long. So there's something here about long-term goals. And also because we've got like this big pile of poop here, it kind of says to me that there's this real sense of understanding like that these things take time and it's a process. What's really interesting is that this is reminding me of a story that I was listening to about Japanese history and about how they used to sell excrement, which was really interesting. But, you know, there's something about also the experience of people, which is something that kind of equates to gold. So that's something to think about. So let's pick out some astrology for you, pile 3. Let's have a little look about this long-term goal that you're looking at. And also, like, well, I mean, swans don't really take that long to like hatch or, you know, grow, but they are considered like the kings, or yeah, the kings of, or, you know, royalty amongst the bird species. Right, we've got 9th house exploration. So you're doing a project. I don't know if some of you have been doing like studies, and maybe at the time of this reading, you're either embarking on a period of study or you have completed a period of study. You may also be thinking about traveling as well, but there's something about expanding your horizons and also realizing that there's something much bigger for you that is going to happen than what you're actually currently experiencing. So that's really interesting. What's also really interesting is that you also only got one of these cards. So that tells me that you've actually got like more of a directed, like there's something a lot more focused with your group, pile 3. Eyes on the prize is what gets me there. And this idea of financial freedom, like you really want this idea of financial freedom. Well, not this idea, you want financial freedom. Let's be really honest and open about that. Wow, Poppy. Dream. So there's something about your dreams that are going to be really important here. Also about that liminal space. If you don't already work with your dreams, I would advise you to work with your dreams. If you don't, then a really good practice that you can do, which is quite simple, is just before you go into a state called the hypnagogic state, which is a state hypnagogic, and that is the state just before you go to sleep. It's like that kind of like dream space where you're awake but you're not quite, you're kind of dreamy in this space just before you go to sleep, and that is one of the most powerful spaces. Also, I think it's the hypnagogic, and then the other one, I can't remember, the one when you're waking. Those are the two like kind of states between sleep and awake that kind of help you to program some of the most powerful things into your conscious and your subconscious, more potently the subconscious. So in the respect of like you going into your subconscious, which this is kind of like, you know, this is more kind of towards the sleep area, and you going into that dream space, maybe ask, you know, what is your next kind of like steps, and then see what happens, see what is revealed to you in that space, because there's something very potent and powerful for you here. Poppy is associated with death as well, so in terms of like that liminal space, death is almost like kind of, you know, if we don't wake up from sleep, what happens? You know, people assume that we're like gone. So it's that kind of, we are connecting to that space when we go to sleep. So do take advantage of that. This is not meant to be morbid. This is meant to be helping you to connect to that space. There's something very ethereal here, because also with ninth house exploration, we also have the sign of Sagittarius. We've also got Neptune here and Saturn. Neptune is also slightly connected with Sagittarius as well. So there is that sense of you being able to kind of really go off on your own and really explore in a way that you haven't done before, being able to make things where people may even think that what you're doing is a little bit crazy, and you're like, well, you know what, I'm just gonna do me, yo. So yeah, leave me be. So let's see what the tarot has to say about your situation. Pile 3. If this is a yes/no question in the respect of whether or not you should go forward with the situation, I think this is a yes, but let's see about the tarot. Like, for example, should I take a trip somewhere? Should I like go on this excursion somewhere? Shall I go forward with this period of study? This is something that, you know, definitely, even if it isn't a yes, there is something in it that is saying for you to explore. So let's have a look. Okay, so we've got the Queen of Materials, which is the Queen of Pentacles. We've got the Ace of Voices, Ace of... the Ace of Swords. The Muse of Emotions, which is the King of Cups. We have the Page of Inspiration, which is the Page of Wands. And we have the Magician reversed again, like pile 1. And then we also have the Knight of Voices. Can you see that? Yes, you can. Thank you. Right, okay, so what I'm getting here is that you're escaping a situation. You're clearly getting away from a situation where maybe people have had too many kind of like, they've had too much to say about what you're doing. So you're like, right, I'm out of here. You've got so many people here. Kings, queens, pages, you got everything here. In fact, you have no like numerical cards. You've only got the court cards and then one major arcana. And I don't like that major arcana like that. Yeah, I mean, like you haven't been really able to kind of speak out, and I don't know if you're like just literally just breaking out and you're like, right, I'm gone. And I mean, to be fair, like, you do have support, and I think you've got it together quite well, and you're pretty well balanced, but there is something here where, I don't know, I think it might be this home situation that's going on. So maybe it might be, oh, so what are you going to do for money? How are you going to go? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? Like, there may be just some kind of like negativity that's there that's trying to keep you in a space where, you know, you're not able to be free or not able to get away from a situation. There is someone looking to capitalize upon that situation as well. So yeah, they're looking to kind of like capitalize upon the situation rather than actually help you. They may come under the guise that they're helping you, but I don't know. I don't know. The Queen of Materials reverse kind of says to me somebody who is like saying that they've got it all together and saying that they're providing some kind of home, but really, are they? Are they though? And that's what there's a reason why you're coming to this reading, to like have a look at this. It's like, you know, you're looking for ways out here. I see somebody who's trying to escape something. Not in a bad way. Like somebody who's trying to escape a situation. Because all of these are upright. All of this is upright. So apart from these two, these are the only two that are not. And yet, like this Ace of Voices being reversed, this means that you can't say what you want to say. You're not able to communicate what you want to say. This person, whoever it is manipulating the situation so that you're not able to like be able to talk about it. And you've managed to keep yourself under check, or you may have like a paternal character or a male character or somebody with a male energy that is helping you to feel inspired. This may be a teacher, it may be a father figure, but there is somebody else in the fray that is helping you to break out, because you're like, I've got to get out of here, because if I don't, I'm going to go mad. Knight of Pentacles. They don't want you to go anywhere. It's almost like they're stunting your ability to like move anywhere. Queen of Swords, Ace of Voices. You're having to be very diplomatic about this. And I don't know, it seems like you've been able to like maintain your sense of maturity where they haven't, which is really interesting, because they seem to be like someone who might actually have some kind of sense of maturity, but they're not showing it. The Sun, whoever this King of Cups is, if this is you, this is totally like inspiration for you to go forward and live your life exactly the way you're supposed to. Beautiful. Ace of Wands reversed. Interesting. Ace of Wands, Page of Inspiration. You know that where you are now there is just nothing for you where you are now, so you have to go somewhere else. You have to go. We've got 2 aces reversed, plus the Magician. 1, 1, 1, all reversed. That means that there is nothing for you in this situation. You have to take the shit that you've got and go somewhere else. It's pretty intense. Okay, we've got the Ten of Swords, the Knight of Voices. Yeah, you may have to leave in a dramatic way. You may have to... It may have to kind of be over in a dramatic way. It may have to kind of end up in some kind of crescendo in order for you to do that. Sometimes you have to end... We haven't got the Tower here though, so it's not... I don't think it's a breakthrough. I think this is an ending of something. The only reason why I say breakthrough here is because you've got this Pegasus here, but it's like kind of like, I'm out of here. You know, a bit like Harry Potter when he has to break out of like when he has to break out of like that, I don't know what it is, 9 something where he lives, and he has to like kind of like break out every time. I just realised that Harry Potter's a really dark tale, you know. Because I was just thinking, like, he was in a situation where his aunt was looking after him, and his aunt, like, emotionally and psychologically abused him, and also made him a slave by subjecting him to certain types of treatment while she was looking after him. But you know, she made a vow to the mother she made a vow to like look after him. So it's almost it's quite interesting actually, because like that would signify a Queen of Materials, very reversed very well. So it would be somebody that is saying that they provide you with this protection and this kind of like thing, but now you're having to get out, and you're having to get out with what you've got. And there's something very divine about you, because with that, the swallows, and also this as well, there's something about you being able to spin something out into gold. Wow, strength. So if we're using that analogy, and for those of you who haven't read the story, I've just told you a little bit about the situation, so that might give you an idea about the context of like what I'm saying here. But, you know, the idea that Harry's aunt, like, whenever she looked at him, it was almost like a sign of her own weakness, because her sister, Harry's mother was a witch, was a proponent, was a practicer of magic, and she wasn't. She refused to be anything to do with that because she looked down upon people that practiced that. So she felt that that was something that was so alien to her. And therefore, it was kind of like, it was a disabling of strength. It was something that when she saw them, it just made her feel that she wasn't strong. Which, if I can imagine if somebody that you are close to suddenly becomes very good at something, and you're not, what does that mean? Like how sometimes siblings can get very jealous of their partner, of their other siblings. Siblings can get very jealous of each other. So what I'm seeing here is that there may be some kind of compromising going on in the respect of like people trying to make you do things that you don't want to do. Particularly when it comes to like family, because we've got like a lot of people here. So maybe like a friend group, or it may be like family. But because we've got all the team here, we've got Page, Knight, Queen, King, we've got all of them. And then we've also got this character, the Magician, with strength reversed. Strength reversed in the Crowley mythos, or the Crowley version of the tarot, is known as lust. So that means that it's kind of like the ability to control one's own lustful urges. So in this respect, the Queen of Materials here is very much someone who is a slave to their own, to loving what they have. I always see like the reverse King especially as the devil of Pentacles, but then with the Queen of Pentacles, it's somebody who has just got their values completely like, and it's not necessarily in a bad way, it just means that their values are not like, they're not aligned with what you want to do, which is why you're having to break out. So let's close out the reading here. Now, advice on the situation. The advice here is that you have to be really clear about what you want. But what I'm getting here is that there is something here for you to move on with, and to be really looking at the situation. You got to get the hell out of there, to be honest with you. And I think you've got everything you need to get out of there. Everything is going for you. And even if you can't see that immediately, a way will open if you find out. Like, and for those of you who haven't read it, like seriously read like, the Potter books, maybe Vor kind of, or even just the first one, or maybe my first one was the fourth one. So if you maybe look at those, don't watch the films, read the book. But if you look at that, then that might be able to give you some insight into, I don't know, or maybe just read about it. I think the family that was looking after him is the Dursleys, and the relationship that she had to Harry maybe gives you an idea of like, in terms of oppression and how to overcome that, and how he didn't do it intelligently, but he had nothing. Like, she made sure he had nothing. So, there's something here for you to explore. Wow. Oh my God. So the Griffin, right? This is actually really funny, because the Griffin is one of the main characters in one of the books. In fact, it's one of the main characters in the fourth book, which I mentioned. So the Griffin is like half lion, half dragon, has the wings as well. And remembering your integrity and who you are is going to be really beneficial to you. You're the only one that's kind of got this card the right way up. And also we've got these like winged creatures as well. You do also have this owl here as well. So it just seems to me like you've got an opportunity to really kind of like break through and kind of do something quite amazing, Pile, pile 3. But it is going to take some tenacity, strength, courage, and I don't know, you're just going to have to like take your chances and just go for it, to be fair. That's what I'm sensing here. And that would be the advice that I would give you for this situation. Now, I'm going to close out the reading with a question. So let's have a look. I can't believe you got the Griffin out of all of them. Yeah, read number 4. Read number 4. There's amazing lessons in that book. Amazing. Okay, so you got 2 questions. Lucky you. Okay, so let's have a look. So you got Corona Borealis, which is the crown again. Okay, so what does it say? It says, what if you were in charge of your life this whole time? Interesting. What if you were in charge of your life this whole time? Taking action. Taking action, pile 3. Taking action. Oh, Aries, look at that. What if you could start fresh? Can you see that? What if you could start fresh? Wonderful. Brilliant. Well, I hope that helped, pile 3. Incredible reading. I really enjoyed reading for you, and thank you so much for allowing me to read your energy. If you enjoyed this, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe for more videos. But otherwise, my darlings, you take care. Have a beautiful day. Good luck with your situation. Please do share in the comments if you wish to. Otherwise, have a beautiful day, and I shall speak to you soon. And remember that honesty is always key. Bye.